from Antonio. Mark, why do you wear the same shirt every day? Follow-up, is it the same shirt? Is there one? Like, how does this all go down every day?
Now, you'll be happy to know that there are multiple of the same shirt. Cheryl tells the story that when she joined the company, you should probably just tell the story because it's a pretty funny story. You got a mic.
Sorry. Yeah, I joined the company almost 7 years ago, and I thought one of the major things I contributed is I went around telling people, Mark actually has more than one of that T-shirt, which people found very reassuring.
We just kind of give each other crap all the time. It's part of having a good work environment, I think. It's a very simple question in a way, but it actually speaks to how we think about our duty to the community here. I really want to clear my life to make it so that I have to make as few decisions as possible about anything except how to best serve this community. And there's actually a bunch of psychology theory that even making small decisions around what you wear or what you eat for breakfast or things like that, they kind of make you tired and consume your energy. And my view is, I'm in this really lucky position where I get to wake up every day and help serve more than 1 billion people, right? And I feel like I'm not doing my job if I spend any of my energy on things that are silly or frivolous about my life, so that way I can dedicate all of my energy towards just building the best products and services and helping us reach our goal and achieve this mission of helping to connect everyone in the world and giving them the ability to stay connected with the people that they love and care about. So that's what I care about. So even though it kind of sounds silly to, all right, that's my reason for wearing a gray T-shirt every day, it also is true. And I think that there are a number of other people throughout history who've kind of had the same approach. I think Steve Jobs did. I think our president, Obama, I don't think chooses what he wears every day, kind of for the same psychological reason. And but in our case, it's just I really want to make sure that all of my energy can go towards serving this community.
Great. So let's open it up to the room. I think we have a question here already. Come on over, if you can.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Sosa. I'm an electrical engineering student at San Jose State University. And from a student's perspective, I hear you work hard a lot. Everyone that I talk to, every thread I read, you're the guy who he knows how to keep things in order and keep it organized, and he works, and it's awesome. It's really inspiring for students like us. And I just wanted to know, how do you keep that passion running for Facebook?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, I think it kind of starts with doing something that you think is really important, right? People, I think, build companies for a lot of different reasons, but for me, I actually never really wanted to build a company. When I started Facebook, I didn't start it as a company. I just started it as a project, and I only decided to turn it into a company once we had so much work that we were doing that I realized that I needed a lot of help, and that the best way to structure this whole thing and make Facebook the best thing that I could was if I made it a company and used that to hire people. So that way, as we made money, I could get more talented people to join and get more energy going towards building and serving this community. But I actually think as I met more people who started companies, I learned that was actually not a very uncommon thing. A lot of the best companies and the founders who I admire didn't set out in the beginning to build a company because at the end of the day, I think building a company can get kind of old. And there's a lot of stuff that you're going to have to deal with that's just not that fun. But if what you really care about is some change that you're trying to make in the world, then that can be pretty motivating for a long time. And then there's this concept in education these days, grit, where a lot of what makes, I think, a company or an organization or an individual effective is just the ability to power through a lot of stuff that sucks. And building a company, most things do not go your way, right? So, I mean, as much as it may look like, like building Facebook, it just kind of like worked at each step along the way, it really isn't true. I mean, I've been very lucky, right? And I've gotten a lot of really good breaks, both in my life and in building this company. But like almost every day, there are crazy things that come up that just from all angles, right? I mean, we have a technical issue, and one data center doesn't have electricity, and we need to manage that, right? So kick in the backup generators, or there's like some government is trying to do something that's difficult, right? And or there's a competitor, or or like someone who's really important in the company wants to leave to go do something else, and we relied on them to go deliver something for our community, and or our business isn't going as well, and investors are going to be upset, and then there's all this pressure to focus on making money instead of doing what we really want to do, which is serving the community. So there are just all these things that come up, and I think the key is just kind of those two things. It's you really need to believe in what you're doing, and that it's an important and helpful thing in the world, and you need to have grit in order to kind of see these things through, and surround yourself with a team of people that you like working with who also have grit and will help you get through it, because no one can ever do this by themselves, right? But if you can do that, then there are lots of examples of successful companies in the world. So the good news, I think, is that Facebook is not that unique in the grand scheme, right? I mean, maybe something like Facebook doesn't come along every year, but if you look at like 100 years or 1,000 years, there are many examples of people who have like believed in things, who have focused on them and built them, and on all kinds of different scales, and it really is possible. So I'd encourage you to just keep on focusing and find what you think is a really important change that needs to get built in the world, and do it.
I think I saw a second question over here. Yes.
Hello, Mark. I'm Cedric from the K4 Center in Oakland, and you all have some great people here who are working to ensure that Facebook looks like the demographic makeup of the United States. And I'm curious about your perspective on the importance of diversifying tech, the sector writ large.
Yeah, I mean, this is an important topic that we have been spending a lot of time focused on. We actually, we have an all-hands meeting where we just get our whole company together every quarter, just because it's, I mean, a lot of people, and it's so we have these weekly Q&As that people can come to if they want, and we have these all hands where we try to get people to come. And we just had one, was it last week or the week before, and we only had 3 topics, and one of them was the importance of diversity, and how it's not like the diversity recruiting team's job. It is literally every person in the company's job to make sure that that their teams are diverse, because for a number of reasons. I mean, one is there's just so much research that shows that diverse teams perform better at anything that you're trying to do, right? So if you're trying to help connect the world, having a diverse team is going to help you better do that. If you're trying to, even if you're just trying to make more money, right? I mean, and you're just tracking the financial results of companies, companies that are more diverse do better. In academic settings, just you kind of go on and on and on. There's a big problem in the technology industry and in computer science and engineering in specific, where there's not only is there less diversity than normal, but there's especially way fewer women, and that's an issue that it's this problem because it's not even clear where you would start attacking it, right? It's like you need to start earlier in the funnel so that girls don't self-select out of doing computer science education. But at the same time, one of the big reasons why I think today we have this issue is that there aren't a lot of women in the field today. So it's so I heard one person put it this way, that the reason why girls don't go into computer science is because there are no girls in computer science, right? It's the circular thing that you need to break the cycle, and you need to just do overwhelming effort in order to do that. So it's something that I believe is really important. I think we will only really achieve our mission and succeed in the way that we want to if we're successful at doing this. We have specific teams at Facebook that are focused on this, but I also think I'd be remiss to not call out Cheryl on this one, who has written a whole book, which is an awesome book, and I encourage all of you to read. It definitely changed a lot of my perspectives on this in terms of what some of the challenges are facing minorities and women in the workforce. I think you should probably come up and comment on some of the stuff that both we and the industry should do overall on this.
Well, I think we have some of the girls who code here, right? All right, you guys, stand up. Stand up. So, women who code. But this is the answer, that we know that girls are just as good at math and science. when they are told they're just as good at math and science. We know when girls are told that boys are better in math and science, that boys outperform. And so it's really simply a matter of expectations. And so starting young, starting with people in school, we have so many great girls. I guess they're still girls. I saw some 8th graders here. So many great people who really care about this. And just knowing that we can get as many women as men into computer science if we start encouraging them, believing it's possible, and really putting a focused effort. These are great careers. You know, in a job market that's tough, in a world where people are struggling for employment, the part of the economy that is full employment is technologists. This company, we will kill for every great computer scientist we can get out there, and so will all the other tech companies. And so when you think about a future of a job that's really promising and a job that's also really flexible, tech is a great place to be, and we as a company believe that every girl out there can do it if she wants to.
So Mark, I want to throw in one more question from the thread because it's very timely, and it comes from Janine in New York City. Why are you and Facebook getting involved in the fight against Ebola?
So there are a lot of really important issues in the world, right? And I don't think anyone can focus on all of them. The reason why I care so much about Ebola is because right now it's affected 10, 13,000 people, which by itself makes it serious. But if we're at this critical moment in time right now where if we focus on it and kind of prevent it from spreading to the rest of Africa, to India, to Pakistan and Bangladesh and a lot of other big countries where a lot of health folks are really worried that it could spread, if we don't do that now, then it could be the next global epidemic, right? With that, the next HIV or tuberculosis or polio. And I think that there isn't enough attention in the world focused on kind of stopping those things before they become at that scale. And I mean, what I would have given to have been able to go back to the 70s or 80s before I was born and try to fight to prevent HIV from getting to the scale that it got to, I mean, that's like, you don't get opportunities to do that. And I feel like that's what the world has the opportunity to do with Ebola now. And, you know, so for folks who say, you know, this isn't the biggest issue today, that might be true in a narrow sense, right? That it isn't the biggest cause of death that's out there. But I do think that we are at this rare moment in time for, you know, maybe the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, who knows? You never know ahead of time, where we have the chance to make this not be the next HIV type thing in the world. And I just think that's worth a lot of folks rallying around it and focusing to make sure that it doesn't do that. Because if it does, it'll really hurt and affect tens of millions, if not, you know, hundreds of millions of people's lives. So we have an opportunity to kind of get this now before it becomes that, and I think we need to. So.